Hi everyone, Kim here from Expression Artworks. I am with you today making a really fun project, and I am going to be, besides painting, which I'm doing right now, I'm using a stencil. I have a stamp pad with lettering on it, and I'm also going to be doing a technique called a chippy look, which basically when paint gets old and there's a couple of coats and shades of paint on it, it starts to chip off and creating an aged chippy look. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of that on this piece. So right now I'm painting the surface and the sides of this wood block, a raw umber it's called. So it's by Americana, it's an acrylic paint, and that's what it's called, raw umber. So that's going to be my bottom layer coat of paint, and I'm just drying that up really well before I do my second technique. So here I'm taking a wax candle, just any wax will do, preferably unscented, which this is, and in just various spots on the wood I am applying, going back and forth and adding some wax onto the wood. From here, I'm going to be taking my folk art acrylic white paint called Wicker White, and I'm going to just go right over that brown that I originally painted and cover the surface. With this, I used a little bit too much paint, so I just kind of went back over with the brush and removed any excess. I added some of that white to the sides, continuing that distressed look that I am wanting to achieve with this particular sign. Not wanting to cover, of course, all the brown. I want a lot of the brown to still come through, so just lightly going over it with the white. Then just making sure that surface is fully dry. And I have this scraper, which you could get at any hardware store, basically a paint scraper. And I am just starting from the bottom, working my way up, and I'm removing some of that layer of that white paint. So basically what it's doing is the areas where I applied the wax, it's allowing the brown that was underneath to start coming through and exposing itself, creating that chippy look. This is a fun technique to use whenever you're trying to have an aged style background, rustic, so anything like that, it ties in really nicely. And I'm just going in different directions, so I started from the bottom up and going back and forth, and then also from one side to the other, just making sure getting any of those areas that had the wax underneath. So it, like you could see, it gives it a really nice chippy aged look. And then I just quickly sanded it just to remove any excess and have the surface smooth. And then I have this really cool stamp pad with lettering on it, basically scripted lettering that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I thought this would be really nice to add to the background of this piece. Hopefully you could see that. From here I have this stencil. It's very simple cross with a flower wrapped around it, probably like a tulip. And I'm going to be stenciling on this piece now. I'm going to be using the same raw umber that I used as my first coat to stencil the cross. Want to make sure I blot it really well to remove any excess paint and then go ahead and stencil it. I'm using Folk Art Classic Green for the stem and the leaves of the flower. And I'm using also by Folk Art Cottage Rose, which is a really pale rosy pink color that I thought would be nice for the flower. I have my Tim Holtz ink pad. And with this, I wanted to just add on to that aged vintage style of this piece and the design. So I decided to just kind of go around the edges and give it a little bit more of a distressed look. Obviously, you don't have to do this if that's not what you want to achieve or not the look that you're looking for. There was a little area on the cross between the cross and the stem that I just wanted to connect a little bit more. So I just took a really fine detailed brush and I added a little bit more to that area to connect it. I was really happy with this piece. I thought it came out great. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it. Thanks so much for watching.